Hokage. I can evolve summoning beasts. Chapter 21. Hokage-sama. Inuzuka bowed his head respectfully to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Looking at Uzumaki Naruto beside Sarutobi Hiruzen, Inuzuka's eyes also flashed a little strange. Is this the descendant of the fourth generation, Ninetales Jinchuriki, Uzumaki Naruto? This child should be able to become a big man in Konoha in the future. Since he wants to raise a ninja dog, maybe this is a good opportunity to make friends. Thinking of this, Inuzuka smiled kindly at Uzumaki Naruto. Hokage-sama, today I have brought all the high-quality ninja dogs born in Inuzuka this year. Please come to me, Hokage-sama. As he said this, Inuzuka made a gesture of invitation. Thank you for your hard work. Sarutobi Hiruzen also kindly replied to Inuzuka with a smile. Then, Uzumaki Naruto and Sarutobi Hiruzen saw a group of newly born ninja dogs. Hundreds of ninja dogs of different colors and appearances, but equally cute, or really spectacular and healing. Wow! There are so many. Uzumaki Naruto couldn't help but open his mouth and exclaimed. Seeing Uzumaki Naruto's eyes shining at this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen also knew that Uzumaki Naruto was very happy now. So after a slight pause, Sarutobi Hiruzen said to Inuzuka on the side, Naruto wants a giant ninja dog, I hope you can recommend one. Sarutobi Hiruzen's words also made Uzumaki Naruto on the side cast his eyes over and look forward to looking at Inuzuka. This. After thinking for 2 seconds, Inuzuka walked to the far right of a room, pointed at this part of the ninja dogs and said, generally, ninjas buy small tracking ninja dogs. Not many people buy giant ninja dogs, so I don't have many giant ninja dogs here. But there are some, these 10 ninja dogs are giant ninja dogs. Listening to Inuzuka's explanation, Uzumaki Naruto's eyes couldn't help but look at the direction pointed by Inuzuka. Where? There are 10 newly born ninja dogs. Black, white, yellow, gold, gray, brown, with patterns, pure color. After a careful look, Uzumaki Naruto stopped his eyes on the golden-haired ninja dog. Speaking of which, Uzumaki Naruto really likes this color. Third generation grandpa, I want this one. Uzumaki Naruto pointed at the golden-haired ninja dog with his eyes straight. Okay, this is the one. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded and agreed, then spoke directly to Inuzuka. You have a good eye. This breed of ninja dog is the most obedient, loyal, and powerful. Inuzuka said with a smile. As he said this, Inuzuka took out the wooden house that he had prepared long ago, as well as nutrient solution and special dog food. After packing these, Inuzuka handed them to Sarutobi Hiruzen. As for why he didn't hand them to Uzumaki Naruto, Inuzuka thought that Uzumaki Naruto might not be able to take them. Hokage-sama, these are all necessary supplies for ninja dogs. Well, thank you. After Sarutobi Hiruzen took these things casually, he turned his eyes to Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto, go see your ninja dog. Your ninja dog, these 4 words really made Uzumaki Naruto smile brightly and happily. After trotting over, Uzumaki Naruto reached out and touched the golden retriever. So cute. Uzumaki Naruto couldn't help but sighed, and then fell into deep thought. After a moment of silence, Uzumaki Naruto excitedly said, from today on, your name is Kanemaru. Kanemaru, Kanemaru, Kanemaru. Uzumaki Naruto called 3 times in a row, and then directly picked up Kanemaru. Seeing Uzumaki Naruto so happy, Sarutobi Hiruzen beside him also smiled faintly. Inuzuka looked at this scene, and his eyes also showed some relief. As a dog lover, Inuzuka is naturally full of goodwill towards Uzumaki Naruto, who really likes dogs. At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded gently to Inuzuka. Seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen's hint, Inuzuka directly said to Uzumaki Naruto, okay, Naruto. You can take your ninja dog away. If you have any problems in the future, if you need dog food or if Kinmaru is sick, you can come to me at any time. Inuzuka showed a kind smile. From childhood to adulthood, there are really few people who have shown kindness to Uzumaki Naruto. That's why Uzumaki Naruto is full of goodwill towards Inuzuka. Thank you, I will, uncle. Uzumaki Naruto nodded heavily. Seeing Uzumaki Naruto's reaction, Inuzuka Jade also nodded gently. Naruto, it's getting late, I'll take you back. Sarutobi Hiruzen finally said. Goodbye, uncle. Goodbye, Naruto. Goodbye, Hokage. Soon. In the voice of farewell. Sarutobi Hiruzen then turned and left with Uzumaki Naruto. After sending Uzumaki Naruto home, Sarutobi Hiruzen also breathed a sigh of relief. Sarutobi Hiruzen is not the kind of evil person who will not feel any remorse or guilt even if he does evil things. Sarutobi Hiruzen is a hypocrite. He will do evil things, but he will also feel guilty and regretful. But no matter how guilty or regretful he is, he still can't help doing some evil things. But after doing these evil things, Sarutobi Hiruzen will also want to make up for it. Seeing Uzumaki Naruto so happy today, Sarutobi Hiruzen also felt that he had compensated Uzumaki Naruto a little, and the guilt in his heart was also dissipated a lot. This feeling made Sarutobi Hiruzen feel a sincere sense of relief. Naruto, I hope you can protect Konoha well in the future. Just whispering in a low voice, Sarutobi Hiruzen slowly disappeared into the night. At Naruto's home, Naruto's face was full of smiles when he saw such a cute Kanemaru. Kanemaru, we will live together from today. Please give me more advice in the future. You should eat well and grow up quickly. No matter whether Kanemaru can help Uzumaki Naruto fight in the future. But at this time, with Kanemaru's company, Uzumaki Naruto does not seem so lonely. In this way, Uzumaki Naruto's childhood will not be so miserable. Maybe this is enough. The next morning, Naruto enthusiastically introduced Jinwan to Bai-Zan, Tiantian, and Might Guy. Then, it was daily practice again. Time passed day by day. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 7 days. On the 7th day, the batch of precious iron ore purchased by Tiangong had arrived. This also means that the evolution material needed by Bai-Zan for the Gale evolution, the wind-cutting iron, has arrived. After saying goodbye to Might Guy in the afternoon, Bai-Zan came to the Tiangong ninja tool shop. Bai-Zan, you are here. Tiangong greeted him kindly. Pointing to the fist-sized, cyan translucent iron body on the table, Tiangong smiled and said, this is the wind-cutting iron. Although you said you only need 100 grams, I didn't touch it. This piece of wind-cutting iron has a net weight of 234 grams, you can use it first. Listening to Tiangong's words, Bai-Zan was not surprised, but just a little curious. Since it has been stated on the system page that only 100 grams are needed. But how will the system take the 100 grams of wind-cut iron needed for the evolution of Jiefeng from this piece of wind-cut iron with a net weight of 234 grams? Although he thought so in his heart, Bai-Zan took the wind-cut iron directly on the surface, and said to Tiangong, thank you very much, I will take this piece of wind-cut iron first. Tiangong, you are busy. Goodbye. Tiangong smiled and waved. Then, Bai-Zan took the wind-cut iron away. Soon, Bai-Zan returned to his home. After taking out the wind-cut iron, Bai-Zan cast his eyes on Jiefeng. Jiefeng looked at Bai-Zan's reaction and guessed what Bai-Zan's action meant. It can evolve again. Become more powerful, more perfect, and gain new talents. All of this makes Jiefeng very excited. So, at this time, in front of Bai-Zan, Jiefeng was happily wagging his tail. Woof. Woof. Looking at the posture of the wind, the shadow who was watching this scene at the side also showed a little envy in his eyes. Don't worry, the evolution will start soon. Bai-Zan said, and then cast his eyes on the attribute page of the wind. Summoning Beast. Wind. Race. Speed Dog. Talent. Wind Speed. Wind Style Affinity. Wind Sense. Shared Talent. Intelligence. Evolvable. Evolution Requirement. Wind Cutting Iron, 100 grams. Whether to evolve. Bai-Zan made his choice for the 4 big words at the bottom of the attribute page. Evolve. Just after Bai-Zan made his choice, the gray chaotic light representing evolution emerged directly from the void. Under the cover of the gray chaotic light, the outermost 100 grams of the wind-cutting iron quickly turned into a ball of blue fluorescence. In an instant, the blue fluorescence flashed in the void, but in an instant it poured into the body of Jiefeng from the top of his head. Woof. Woof. 2 consecutive excited barks sounded, and Jiefeng raised his head and stood up, making a mighty posture of a heavenly dog devouring the moon. Then, Whoosh, whoosh. A slight whistling sound of the wind sounded in an instant, and it suddenly became louder in a very short time, making a clearly visible gust of wind rise out of thin air. The whirlwind covered Jiafeng's body in an instant, as if Jiafeng was wearing a cool and hockey whistling coat. At this moment, Jiafeng seemed to have turned into a wind warrior, mighty and majestic, hockey unparalleled. Squeak. The friction between the wind and the wind made a sharp and piercing whistle. This shriek was like a signal. With this signal, the endless gusts of wind and the majestic airflow seemed to have turned into a mighty army, charging towards the destination under the general's order. And their destination was the dog's mouth and throat of the gust of wind. Under the infusion of the gust of wind, the body of the gust of wind was inflated like a balloon. Inflate. 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 When the body of the gust of wind expanded to a certain extent, it seemed to have reached an ultimate. After reaching this ultimate, the body of the gust of wind was compressed and restored to its original state in a breath. There was no change in the body of the gust of wind, but the eyes of the gust of wind were full of green light, as if it contained the power of the storm that could sweep the world and wreak havoc on everything. Ding. Closing square bracket. Evolution completed. Opening the Summoning Beast attribute page. Opening. Summoning Beast. Gale. Race. Storm Dog. Talent. Storm Power. Storm Body. Shared Talent. Intelligence. Evolvable. Evolution requirement. One-tail Shukaku Chakra, 1000 units. Just after the attribute page popped up, the system prompt sounded. Ding. Closing square bracket. Power. Talent shared. As soon as the mechanical sound fell, a warm energy current emerged directly from the void, and then quickly poured into Baisan's body. Strengthen physical fitness, strengthen mental strength, strengthen chakra quality, and at the same time, change physical properties. Gale, who evolved into a storm dog, has 2 talents. But these 2 talents are powerful to the ultimate. What is storm power? It means that Gale has the ability to control the storm. What is storm body? That is, Gale has a fighting physique that can transform into a storm. Transform into a storm, control the storm. I am the master of the storm, I am the king of the storm. These 2 abilities are simply a Logia devil fruit, the storm fruit. And there are no side effects, not afraid of hockey, not afraid of sea water, not afraid of sea stone, the perfect Logia devil fruit, the storm fruit. These 2 innate abilities are simply too strong in this world. Feeling the huge changes in his body, Baisan couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Who? Baisan turned into a breeze. Feeling this light and free feeling, Baisan couldn't help but feel a bit of freshness and mystery in his heart. Baisan remembered that the Kurigakure clan had a secret technique called water technique, which could also turn the human body into an element. However, although this water technique can liquefy the body, making physical attacks almost ineffective, it can sneak into buildings and attack in a liquefied state, etc. However, when encountering lightning style, it will turn the caster into a jelly sculpture. However, this is only the disadvantage of water technique, not the disadvantage of Baisan's storm body. It must be said that the ability to turn the body into an element is really practical. Baisan turned into a storm, not only immune to most attacks in this world, but also able to fly. Speaking of which, the talent of storm power can also allow Baisan to control the storm. Even if he doesn't use the talent of storm body to turn his body into a storm, Baisan can still fly. However, turning into a storm can make Baisan faster. This is the real wind speed. With a thought, Baisan immediately lifted off the ground. After floating for a while, Baisan returned again. When Baisan regained his flesh and blood body, feeling the consumption of chakra in his body, Baisan's eyes couldn't help but be thoughtful. Baisan also knew that this world was magical and had many magical and mysterious means. Even if he controlled the power of space, he was not invincible. So Baisan would not think that he was invincible after possessing the 2 talents of storm body and storm power. The storm body consumed a lot of chakra, and now Baisan can only maintain it for half an hour at most. It doesn't mean that Baisan is invincible in this half-hour storm body state. Turning into a storm will consume chakra after all. Dark style, hungry Kido, which can devour chakra, is very restraining to Baisan. There is also the sealing technique, which may be able to directly seal Baisan in the storm body state. Or maybe it is the 5 elements of this world that counteract each other. Fire counters wind. Bai Zan does not know what will happen if a powerful fire style attacks him in the storm body state. Anyway, there is still a long time. Bai Zan will find out the shortcomings of the storm body one by one, and then make up for and improve them. Bai Zan is now 4 years old, and he has such powerful strength and ability. As time goes by, when Bai Zan recovers more summoning beasts and allows summoning beasts to continue to evolve, sooner or later, Bai Zan will become the strongest in this world. Thinking about it, Bai Zan turned his attention to the talent of storm power. Relying on this talent, Bai Zan can control a certain degree of storm as long as he consumes chakra. In this way, Bai Zan no longer needs to seal to release wind style. In the next moment, Bai Zan stretched out his right hand, and the strong wind condensed into a wind ball. With a thought, the wind ball dissipated immediately. Sure enough, I no longer need to seal when releasing wind style. Bai Zan nodded with satisfaction. Bai Zan is now roughly familiar with his current state. So Bai Zan turned his attention to Jiafeng. Jiafeng was really excited at this time, because it has felt its own powerful strength and ability. The tail was wagging happily, and Jiafeng looked at Bai Zan with a gentle and flattering look. Shadow on the side looked at Jiafeng's changes, felt Jiafeng's powerful breath, and couldn't help but have a little envy in his eyes. I also want to evolve. Turning his head to look at Bai Zan, Shadow also showed a gentle and flattering attitude. Seeing the expressions of Gale and Shadow, Bai Zan smiled slightly, and then said directly, "Okay, although evolution is important, it is not everything. Evolution can give you powerful strength and talent, but it cannot allow you to master this strength and talent. We still need to exercise and control before we can dominate this power. Go and exercise quickly. The stronger you are, the greater the probability of me getting evolution materials. If you want to evolve as soon as possible, then work hard to exercise and become stronger," Bai Zan said seriously. Listening to Bai Zan's words, Gale and Shadow, who are not low in wisdom, also nodded respectfully. Woof. Ga. After a respectful reply, a dog and a crow went to practice. Shadow evolution requires 10 Nara hairs. I'll have a chance to get them when I enter school. And if Hayate wants to evolve again, it needs 1 tail Shukaku's chakra. I don't know how much 1000 units of chakra means. But when the Chunin exam comes, I will definitely be able to beat Gaara, and even suppress 1 tail Shukaku from the front. It shouldn't be a problem to collect some Shukaku chakra at that time. After all, I already have the strength of a Jonin, or even an elite Jonin. It's not too far from fighting a shadow. After thinking for a while, Bai Zan went to train. After obtaining the 2 talents of Storm Combat Body and Storm Power, you can't not get familiar with them. Especially the Storm Power talent, you should develop the power of the Devil Fruit like the Logia Devil Fruit, the owner of the Gale Fruit ability. In short, it's to create moves. All the wind style ninjutsu that Bai Zan has don't seem to be very powerful. Wind style Rasenshuriken seems to be plagiarized. Bai Zan only knows that this wind style ninjutsu is very powerful. As for the others, Bai Zan really has no impression. So, Bai Zan's wind style development road is really a long way to go. The next morning, when Might Guy saw Bai Zan again and saw Hayate, he couldn't help but open his mouth. Bai Zan. You've become stronger again. And Hayate, it's evolved again. Is there no limit to your bloodline limit? Might Guy's words startled Tien Tien and Naruto, who were standing by, and then looked at Bai Zan in shock. It's only been a short time, Bai Zan has become stronger again, and Hayate has evolved again. This is really amazing. Listening to Might Guy's words, Bai Zan just smiled slightly, and then explained, I just awakened my bloodline limit, so naturally I have a growth explosion period. My strength has indeed increased rapidly during this period. But after this period of time, my speed of becoming stronger will slow down. What Bai Zan said was not just an excuse. Bai Zan could get simple evolution materials quickly, or even buy them directly with money. But with the increase in the number of evolutions, the evolution materials needed by summoning beasts are becoming more and more precious and rare. As a result, Bai Zan cannot obtain these evolution materials as soon as possible. So Bai Zan's strength will naturally increase at a slower rate. Well, it's just a little. After all, When Bison has a strong power, he can continue to recover summoning beasts. By evolving these newly recovered summoning beasts, Bison can quickly become stronger again. However, the more times of evolution, the greater the change. Comparing the first evolution of Gale and the second evolution, Bison knows that only multiple evolutions can allow summoning beasts to obtain truly powerful strength and abilities. Bison may be able to rely on a large number of low-level summoning beasts to obtain powerful strength. But only high-level summoning beasts have powerful talents. Listening to Bison's explanation, Might Guy couldn't help but pause slightly. After a moment of silence, Might Guy asked with some hesitation, I can understand the growth burst period. I just want to know how long this growth burst period will last. Hearing Might Guy's question, Bison just shrugged casually. I don't know how long it will last. But it shouldn't last long. There was a little uncertainty in Bison's tone. Hearing Bison's answer, Might Guy was suddenly speechless. But after a moment of contemplation, Might Guy looked at Hayate and continued to ask, what changes will Hayate have after evolution? Hearing Might Guy's question, Tiantian and Naruto also cast their eyes over. They also want to know the answer. Because Hayate's eyes are really handsome now. The blue light is dense, as if it contains a majestic storm. Seeing Might Guy, Tiantian, and Naruto looking so expectant, Bison said directly, since you all want to know so much. Senior Guy, do you want to spar with Hayate? This time. It was Bison who made the sparring invitation. Listening to Bison's words, Might Guy glanced at Hayate who was eager to try, and his heart was also very tempted. And for someone like Might Guy, since he was tempted, there was no need to hesitate. Okay. Might Guy nodded. Then, Might Guy and Hayate came to the open space on the side. Bison watched quietly, Shadow stood on Bison's shoulder, Tiantian stood on Bison's left, and Naruto stood on Bison's right with Jinwan in his arms. Come on. Might Guy made a fist start. Hayate, go ahead. Bison, who was watching this scene, gave orders to Hayate directly. Then, woof. A powerful dog bark sounded, but in an instant, Gale rushed out directly. Whoosh, whoosh. Just as Gale rushed, a violent storm rose directly and wrapped Gale. But in a breath, Gale was like wearing a storm suit, handsome and cool. Hokage was burly, like a storm general. As soon as this storm suit was put on, Gale's speed suddenly increased. Gale turned directly into a phantom and rushed straight to Might Guy. So fast. This speed is almost catching up with the speed of Kakashi using Chidori. Might Guy was shocked, and then he reacted quickly. Excited leaf-strong whirlwind. The blue chakra covered his calves and soles in an instant, carrying a whistling sound of breaking wind, and Might Guy kicked Gale fiercely. This time, Might Guy used all his strength directly. Facing Might Guy's kick, Jaifeng was like a gust of wind, and suddenly turned sideways and swung out a claw. The violent force swept the sky and the earth, causing Jaifeng's claw to tear the airflow directly, creating 4 nearly 3-meter-long wind blades. These 4 3-meter-long wind blades tore towards Might Guy in claw shape, fierce, swift and sharp. Might Guy did not want to use 8 inner gates in the sparring. But he could not break the wind blades with his flesh and blood. So in the next moment, Might Guy's body paused, and then quickly took out a pair of nunchakus. Chakra attached to the nunchakus in an instant, making the nunchakus permeate a layer of blue chakra fluorescence. Double attack teeth. But in an instant, the pair of nunchakus were danced into phantoms by Might Guy. Under the sweep of the nunchaku phantom, the wind blades were directly shattered. The claws swung again, and wind blades tore through the air in claw-like shapes, cutting towards Might Guy. The dog opened its mouth, and wind cannons whistled out, bombarding Might Guy. Bang! 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 The battle had just begun, and it had already entered a white-hot stage. The nunchaku swept the airflow, and the wind blades and wind cannons raged in the dust. How long has it been? Bison's ninja dog, Gale, has become so much stronger. This is really shocking. Might Guy was shocked in his heart while smashing the wind blades and wind cannons with his nunchaku. Might Guy couldn't believe it. Gale, who was suppressed by him not long ago, could suppress him now. Such a speed of strengthening was really terrifying. However, Might Guy didn't intend to admit defeat, because he knew where his advantage was. Gale was strong, but he had too little combat experience. But he was an excellent ninja who had been on the battlefield and experienced many battles. In this regard, Might Guy could see the immaturity of Gale. After his face straightened, Might Guy began to change his fighting style, and began to use many fake moves to induce Gale to attack. Bang! Bang! After quickly smashing the two wind cannons with his nunchakus, Might Guy's body relaxed. Clone technique. Might Guy is not Shaoli, he just has a poor talent for ninjutsu, not that he can't release ninjutsu at all. But in an instant, dozens of wind blades cut through the two Might Guys, causing a layer of white smoke to rise suddenly. Looking at this scene, Jiafeng's eyes flashed with contempt. The talent of storm power is not only used for attack. Controlling the wind will naturally tell Jiafeng where its enemy is. Might Guy wants to use this white smoke as a cover to launch a sneak attack, which is really stupid. In the next moment, Jiafeng opened his dog mouth, mobilized chakra, and sent out the talent of storm power, causing extremely strong storms to gather and compress in his mouth. This time, Jiafeng seemed to want to use a large compressed wind cannon to completely defeat Might Guy. Looking at this scene, Baizan couldn't help but frown. Jiafeng didn't see Might Guy's plan, but Baizan did. However, there was not a trace of worry in Baizan's eyes. Because from the beginning to the end, Jiafeng only showed the talent of storm power, but not the talent of storm combat body. In the case of poor intelligence, Might Guy is bound to suffer. As expected by Baizan, as the white smoke dissipated, Might Guy suddenly appeared on Jiafeng's left. Jiafeng also quickly turned his head and faced Might Guy with a dog's mouth that was pregnant with a large compressed wind cannon. Who? A roar sounded, and a compressed wind cannon as big as a basin, which was making bursts of hissing sounds, blasted towards Might Guy in an instant. Body replacement technique. Boom. The wind cannon fell on the wooden stake used for the substitute, and the terrifying impact force tore the wooden stake apart in an instant. Under the raging airflow, the torn wooden stake was crushed and shattered by this terrifying force, and washed away in all directions. In an instant, wood chips filled the sky. At this time, Jiafeng was looking at the wood chips in disbelief. It didn't expect that this sneak attack was actually induced by Might Guy. But it was normal. After all, Jiafeng was just a ninja dog, even if he was very smart, he was very limited. And Jiafeng was still too young, and he had never experienced a few evenly matched battles, and he lacked combat experience. But even though Jiafeng's expression was full of disbelief, there was no panic in Jiafeng's eyes. Because it has the talent of storm combat body, it can ignore most of the attacks in this world. At this time, Might Guy was behind Jiafeng, and he couldn't see Jiafeng's expression. It was for this reason that Might Guy couldn't help but reveal a bit of pride in his eyes. The nunchaku was raised high in an instant, and chakra burst out in an instant. Might Guy didn't kill him. But he wanted to use this move to make Jiafeng lose his combat effectiveness. Huh. The nunchaku whistled through the wind, and fiercely drew a curve from top to bottom in the void. Then, at the moment when the nunchaku fell on Jiafeng, Might Guy's face changed. His rich combat experience told him that his attack did not focus on the entity. The nunchaku only attacked a breeze. At this moment, Jiafeng had turned into a storm. The nunchaku did not hurt Jiafeng, but the storm turned by Jiafeng had circled in the void and rushed directly towards Might Guy. This time Might Guy had no place to hide. Oops. Jiafeng actually has such ability. This time I'm in trouble. Might Guy, who had nowhere to escape, couldn't help but smile bitterly and thought to himself. Bang. A collision sounded, and Might Guy flew backwards. The battle is over, Jiafeng. After watching Might Guy fly backwards, Baizan opened his mouth and ordered in time. When Baizan's voice sounded, Jiafeng recovered his flesh and blood, and Might Guy also flexibly stabilized his center of gravity. Tiantian and Naruto, who were beside Baizan, could not help but stare at the majestic and arrogant Jiafeng. Awesome. It's really amazing. Naruto couldn't help but murmured absent-mindedly. Jiafeng is really powerful and handsome. Tiantian's eyes also showed some shock. The next moment, Jiafeng quickly ran in front of Baizan, wagging his tail to ask for credit. Woof. Woof. Looking at Jiafeng in this state, Baizan also stretched out his palm and gently touched Jiafeng's head. Jaifeng's attitude made Tiantian and Naruto cast their eyes on Baizan. The expressions of the two of them can be understood as worship and admiration. Baizan, your ninja dog is really amazing. Such ability is really too strong. Might Guy walked over quickly, with only sincere admiration on his face, without any frustration or loss. Might Guy will not be sad and depressed because of a failure. On the contrary, failure will make you work harder to practice. Senior Guy, you were just careless for a moment, and you don't know the ability of Gale. Baizan said with a smile. At this point, Baizan's eyes flashed with a little strangeness and continued to say, besides, I know that Senior Guy, you didn't use your full strength at all. Although Gale defeated Might Guy, Baizan knew. Might Guy without opening 8 inner gates and Might Guy with 8 inner gates opened are two completely different concepts. Especially when the 8 inner gates formation is opened to the 8th gate, the Death Gate. One move of Night Guy is enough to threaten a 6 paths level strongman. But even so, using Summoning Beast to defeat Might Guy in normal state also made Baizan feel a sense of accomplishment. Finally, I can let Summoning Beast deal with the enemy, and I will watch quietly on the side. This is a tamer, beastmaster, and trainer. Listening to Baizan's words, Might Guy also laughed. Ha 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 ha. Baizan, your vision is still so good. Although I didn't use my full strength, it's because the technique I practiced is different from the conventional technique. That's a forbidden technique that can't be used casually. When Might Guy said this, his tone was particularly serious. Listening to the conversation between Baizan and Might Guy, Tiantian and Naruto also looked at Might Guy in shock. They didn't expect that Might Guy hadn't used his full strength yet. The battle just now was already spectacular enough in the eyes of Tiantian and Naruto. Hayate and Might Guy were also powerful enough in the eyes of Tiantian and Naruto. But now they know that such a powerful Might Guy didn't use his full strength. This made the two children who didn't know the power of ninjas feel shocked. Jonin. Is it such a powerful existence? How powerful is the Hokage, who is above Jonin and is known as the strongest ninja in Konoha? Is this a ninja? For a moment, both of them had a desire for the power of ninjas. They also wanted to have such power. Tiantian regained her composure after being shocked. But Naruto on the other side couldn't help but think of a question. That amiable third-generation grandpa should be stronger than Might Guy. This really made Naruto feel a little awe in his heart. Offer the strong, offer the power. Okay, let's not talk about this technique. This technique is very harmful to the body. You are too young now. There is no benefit for you to understand it now. After saying this, Might Guy turned his eyes to Tiantian and Naruto. Might Guy was very relieved about Baizan. Because Baizan's mind was very mature and knew what to do and what not to do. On the contrary, Tiantian and Naruto were not mature in some aspects and didn't know the importance. Especially Naruto. After looking at Naruto, Might Guy said directly, if you want strength, then practice hard. Naruto, if you want to become a strong man, practice hard. Might Guy patted Naruto's shoulder heavily. Yes, Teacher Guy. Seeing that Might Guy valued him so much, Naruto also responded excitedly. Today's practice begins. Run 10 laps to warm up first. Might Guy shouted with blood boiling. Then, today's practice, just like that. Time passed day by day. It took a full month for Baizan and Jaifeng to fully control the two talents of Storm Power and Storm Combat Body. As for Shadow, he also learned how to fight. When Baizan was ready, he said something to Might Guy, Tiantian, and Naruto. Then, Baizan walked into the most dangerous forest in Konoha, the Death Forest. As for the purpose, naturally, he wanted to see if there was any beast here that was suitable to be his summoning beast. Woof. Woof. Jaifeng seemed to sense something and called out to Baizan twice. Is the chakra aura the strongest here? Then go over and take a look. Baizan nodded gently and gave the order directly. That's it. Baizan led Jaifeng and Shadow and headed directly in this direction. Passing through patches of bushes and rows of tall trees, Baizan, who was walking through the forest, couldn't help but think about it secretly. I heard that when first Hokage Senju Hashirama founded Konoha, he used the power of wood style to create a large forest. That's why there are so many forests in Konoha village. And this death forest is the forest with the most wood-style chakra, so the trees here are taller than those in other forests. Yeah, wood style has a strong breath of life, so the breath of life in this death forest is also stronger than that in other forests. Therefore, there are more beasts here and they are more powerful. Baisan's eyes swept to the side, watching a cheetah with a small amount of chakra passing through the bushes, and his eyes narrowed slightly. When the cheetah disappeared from Baisan's sight, Baisan saw a squirrel with a small amount of chakra in its body. Rabbit, wild boar, lion majesty, insects, lizards, frogs. As time passed, Baisan saw more beasts with chakra, but Baisan was not very satisfied with these beasts. But Baisan was not in a hurry. It always takes some patience to choose the summoning beast that suits him. That's it. Baisan walked slowly towards the death forest. About an hour and a half later, when Baisan reached the center of the death forest, he suddenly heard a sound. He took a closer look. Baisan saw a very shocking scene. If it were on Earth, the difference in fighting power between tigers and foxes should be very obvious. The tiger is the king of beasts, the overlord of the forest, and is also called Mountain King. It is even often compared with the dragon in mythology. The dragon and the tiger are fighting, the clouds follow the dragon, the wind follows the tiger, and so on. All of this can be explained. The tiger is a predator at the top of the food chain in nature. As for the fox borrows the power of the tiger. Listen to this idiom, and you can understand the difference between the fox and the tiger. But at this time, in front of Baisan, there is a fiery red fox, which is suppressing a Madara tiger. And this Madara tiger is extremely huge, 5 meters long, full of momentum, and the word, king, on the forehead is very Hokage, and the chakra content in the body is not low, comparable to ordinary genin. But such a powerful Madara tiger was suppressed by a fox. This fox has fiery red fur, eyes as bright as rubies, a long tail, and a small body, but it is extremely fast and very flexible. Often with just a leap, the fox turns into a ball of dancing flames, and moves nearly 4 or 5 meters away from the original place. It is precisely because of this speed that the fiery red fox can tease the Madara tiger with full Hokage slowly. With a leap and a sharp claw, it leaves a blood mark on the body of the Madara tiger. When Baisan came here and saw this scene, there were already nearly 100 blood marks on the body of the Madara tiger. Even if the blood marks were not deep, they turned the Madara tiger into a blood tiger. The endless blood made the Madara tiger look extremely miserable. Maybe this Madara tiger wanted to escape a long time ago, but the speed of the fiery red fox was too fast, and the Madara tiger could not escape at all. Maybe after trying to escape several times without success, the Madara tiger showed this tragic appearance in despair. Even if I am about to die, I will bite a piece of meat off your body. It is with this determination that the pair of copper bell-like tiger eyes of the Madara tiger are revealing an extremely strong fierce light. Roar. The tiger roars in the mountains and forests, Hokage is everywhere. Tiger pounces, claws, fangs. But no matter how it attacks, this Madara tiger can't catch the fiery red fox. And Baisan also saw some contempt and cunning in the eyes of the fiery red fox. With such a look, the fiery red fox flexibly teased the Madara tiger, waiting for the moment when the Madara tiger bleeds to death. Looking at the look in the eyes of the flaming fox, Baisan knew that the flaming fox was very intelligent and clever. It was after Baisan, Gale, and Shadow broke into this place. The flaming fox and the Madara tiger discovered Baisan. Even though Baisan looked like a child, the flaming fox and the Madara tiger did not despise him at all, but were very vigilant. You know, they are residents of the Forest of Death. The Forest of Death belongs to Konoha, and there are many ninjas in Konoha. With their wisdom, they naturally understand the meaning of ninjas, which are a symbol of strength and power. In addition, there is Gale in front of Baisan, and Shadow on Baisan's shoulder. Even if it is just Gale, they both feel an extremely strong danger. Seeing Baisan act like the master of Gale, they dare not underestimate Baisan. But what if they dare not underestimate him? Facing the flaming fox, the Madara tiger had already been desperate. In Madara's eyes, Baisan's appearance is an opportunity, a chance for him to survive. Staying here will only make him the prey of the fiery red fox. If he runs to other places, he will easily be caught up by the fiery red fox. So, its only way to survive is here with Bai Zhan. I don't know whether to say that this Madara tiger is stupid or decisive. Almost without any hesitation, this Madara tiger rushed towards Bai Zhan. Seeing the reaction of Madara, the fiery red fox was stunned at first, and then stopped in place, quietly looking at Madara, Bai Zhan, Jiafeng, and Shadow. Facing the Madara tiger that was rushing towards him, Bai Zhan's eyes showed some disdain and contempt. Shadow. Bai Zhan ordered softly. At the moment when Bai Zhan's voice sounded, Shadow soared into the sky and spread his wings at the same time. Black feathers shoot out. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. But in an instant, hundreds of black feathers shot out like arrows, drawing phantoms in the air. Seeing this scene, Madara Landahu was terrified, regretful, and desperate. Puff, puff, puff. These black feathers directly cut through the flesh and blood and sank into the flesh and blood. With blood flowers splashing, Madara Landahu's body was fixed in place. Life disappeared, fell to the ground and died. Dust and smoke rose lightly. This scene really made the pupils of the fiery red fox not far away shrink. Then, the fiery red fox turned and ran away. The four little claws gently scratched the ground, and the fiery red fox seemed to have turned into a ball of jumping flames, imprinting a fiery red phantom in Bai Zhan's eyes. Looking at this scene, Bai Zhan smiled slightly. You are already the summoning beast I have my eyes on, and you still want to run away. What a naive little fox. After whispering this, Bai Zhan continued to give orders. Swiftwind, Shadow, catch up with that little fox. Woof. Swiftwind barked and turned into a ball of wind, rushing in the direction where the fiery red fox fled. Gah. Shadow responded and soared into the sky, chasing the fiery red fox from a high position. When Gale and Shadow, one chasing the flaming fox from the ground and the other from the sky. Bai Zhan also activated the storm battle body directly, turned into a breeze, and quickly chased the flaming fox. About 10 minutes later, after passing through bushes and rows of trees, Bai Zhan saw Gale, Shadow, and the flaming fox in a fairly wide open space. Shadow, who was blocking the flaming fox, spread his wings in the treasure dragon, and a pair of black wings flashed a few dim lights, and then hundreds of black feathers shot out. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. However, in an instant, hundreds of black feathers shot towards the flaming fox in a row. Naturally, this was not to kill the flaming fox, but to prevent the flaming fox from escaping. Woo woo. The fiery red fox screamed in fear, and stopped immediately when it saw the rows of black feathers coming at it. Puff, 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 puff. As soon as the fiery red fox stopped, hundreds of black feathers fell on the ground in front of it. Seeing the black feathers sinking into the soil, the fiery red fox felt extremely scared. He looked around in panic, as if he wanted to see which direction he could escape from. And before the fiery red fox had time to think and react, it had turned into a gust of wind, and it passed directly through the void and fell swiftly behind the fiery red fox. And then, when the gust of wind came, the figure paused. After the gust of wind quickly recovered its body, it pressed the fiery red fox to the ground with one claw. The power of the gust of wind was a powerful force that the fiery red fox could not resist. In addition, the fiery red fox was very smart and knew that resistance without power would only bring suffering. So, the fiery red fox quietly lay under the claws of the wind, with a little fear, and despair in his eyes. The fiery red fox didn't know what fate he was about to face. He didn't know what the owner of the dog and the crow wanted to do to him. However, since the dog and the crow didn't want to kill him, then he should still have a chance to survive. The fiery red fox thought to himself. The wind, the shadow, you did a good job. Bai Zhan, who had recovered his body, walked slowly towards the direction of the fiery red fox, and praised the wind and the shadow. Hearing Bai Zhan's exaggeration, the wind and the shadow were very happy. Woof. The wind shook his tail faster. Caw. The shadow turned a small circle in the air. Seeing the reaction of the wind and the shadow, Bai Zhan also smiled faintly. Then, Bai Zhan walked slowly to the front of the fiery red fox. Ji Feng, lift your feet. Ji Feng listened to Bai Zhan's order, quickly raised his paw, and then stood quietly behind the fiery red fox to prevent it from escaping. Of course. The fiery red fox is so smart, how could it run away? Looking at Bai Zan with a bit of pleading and humility, the fiery red fox made a very pitiful and cute look. Seeing the fiery red fox's reaction, Bai Zan couldn't help but think in his heart. This fiery red fox is really smart. And this pitiful little look is very different from the posture of teasing the hunting Madara tiger just now. Really, not bad. After a moment of hesitation, Bai Zan said directly, "Little fox, I want you to be my summoning beast. I have the ability to evolve summoning beasts. Become my summoning beast. Offer me your strength and loyalty, and I will grant you evolution, making you stronger and more perfect." Bai Zan's voice was very serious and solemn. Listening to Bai Zan's words, the fiery red fox knew that Bai Zan should not lie to it. It was precisely because of this that the fiery red fox could not help but be moved. But it was just a little. Compared to everything Bai Zan said, it wanted to live freely. But, just when the fiery red fox was hesitating and considering, the wind behind the fiery red fox snorted heavily. The hot air hit the fur of the fire red fox, making the fire red fox shudder involuntarily. It suddenly understood. It had no power to choose at all. The only outcome of refusal is death. That's why the fire red fox lowered its head in submission and made a submissive look. Woo! Woo! The fire red fox made a humble sound of submission. Seeing the fire red fox's reaction, Bai Zan gave Ji Feng a good job look of approval, which made Ji Feng's tail shaking more cheerful. Then, Bai Zan gently said to the fire red fox, "Since you have made a choice, then I will give you a name first." Well, Bai Zan pondered for a moment, nodded gently and said, "I see that your fur is as red as flames, so your name will be Hong Yi." Listening to Bai Zan's words, the fire red fox widened his eyes and looked at Bai Zan with an inexplicable look. Although this expression was a bit complicated, Bai Zan could still find some joy in it. It seemed that the fire red fox also liked this name. The name has been chosen, and the next step is to sign the summoning contract. Bai Zan said while taking out the summoning scroll that had been prepared long ago. Then, Bai Zan directly spread the summoning scroll beside the red-clothed man. "Smear your blood on this scroll, and then input your chakra." Bai Zan looked at the red-clothed man quietly. After looking at Bai Zan and the summoning scroll beside him, Hong Yi knew that becoming Bai Zan's summoning beast was an unchangeable thing. So, there was no need to hesitate. After a slight pause, Hong Yi stretched his little claws to his mouth. After the sharp teeth bit, a little blood flowed out. He quickly pressed the bloody claws on the summoning scroll, and the chakra in his body was also input into the summoning scroll. Seeing that Hong Yi had pressed the blood on the summoning scroll and input the chakra into the summoning scroll, Bai Zan just picked up the summoning scroll. Without any hesitation, Bai Zan bit his finger directly, and with chakra, he pressed this bloody thumb directly on the summoning scroll. As the fluorescence of chakra flashed slightly on the summoning scroll, the mysterious power in the dark connected Bai Zan and Hong Yi. Just the next moment, the mechanical sound sounded again. Ding! Closing square bracket. Host obtains summoning beast. Red fox red clothes. Opening the summoning beast attribute page. Opening. Summoning beast. Red clothes. Race. Red fox. Talent. Lightness, agility. Evolvable. Evolutionary requirements. Red fire pepper, 100. Ding. Closing square bracket. Strength. Talents shared. Just at the same time as this series of system prompts and the red clothes attribute page appeared in Bai Zan's mind. The strength and talent belonging to the red clothes were also directly blessed on Bai Zan. Although the red clothes' physical strength was not strong and the chakra content was not much, there was no reaction when it was blessed on Bai Zan. But the two talents of the red clothes, lightness and agility, made Bai Zan feel that his body suddenly lightened and his brain instantly cooled. Lightness represents the strong flexibility of the body, and agility represents the excellent reaction nerves of the brain. It is precisely because of these two talents that Hong Yi can tease the Madara tiger with ease. These two talents have a huge impact on the battle. Even now, Bai Zan feels that his physical power has increased by at least 2 levels. This increase is not small. In battle, the difference between the 2 levels can determine life and death. Of course, It is just like when Bai Zan signed the summoning contract with Shadow. Hong Yi's power has not brought any huge changes to Bai Zan. But Bai Zan's physical strength, mental strength, and chakra have brought great changes to Hong Yi. Such power, such spirit, such chakra. Woo! 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 Hong Yi couldn't help but let out an excited and comfortable cry. Looking up at Bai Zan, Hong Yi also felt that there was nothing wrong with becoming Bai Zan's summoning beast. The feeling of gaining power in this way is really comfortable. Seeing Hong Yi's reaction, Bai Zan almost understood Hong Yi's thoughts. This is just because of the signing of the summoning contract that it has gained some amplification. It has not even evolved yet, but it has gone from being reluctant to now. When it feels the feeling of evolution, this, nothing is wrong, will become, it's great to meet the master. Okay, Hong Yi, remember your master's name. Your master's name is Bai Zan. Bai Zan directly reached out and took Hong Yi. Hong Yi, who was caught by Bai Zan, also quickly made a docile and well-behaved gesture, which Bai Zan couldn't help but touch. Jiafeng, Shadow, let's go back. Bai Zan sat on Jiafeng's back and gave orders directly. Wang. Jiafeng shook his tail and took a step. Ka. Shadow flew in the air and followed Bai Zan closely. Hong Yi lay on Bai Zan's arm, watching the changes in the scenery in front of him, and a few complex emotions flashed in his eyes. I will leave this forest in the future, leaving this forest where I have lived since I was born and grew up. Master, new environment, evolution, more power, and a new life, a new life. Bai Zan also saw the complex look in Hong Yi's eyes. However, Bai Zan did not comfort her, because Bai Zan believed that evolution would make Hong Yi forget these unpleasant things. So, it still depends on Hong Yi's evolutionary needs. Evolutionary requirement. Red fire pepper, 100 pieces. Looking at this evolutionary requirement, Bai Zan's eyes couldn't help but have a complex look. What is a red fire pepper? As the name suggests, it is a variety of pepper. In Konoha village, many people call the red fire pepper the king of peppers, which is the hottest of all peppers. After eating the red fire pepper, it feels like eating a ball of red fire. It is sold in the vegetable market in Konoha village. Tomorrow when Bai Zan goes to buy vegetables, he can buy it. It is precisely because of this. Bai Zan feels a little emotional. He really didn't expect that the evolutionary material needed for Hong Yi's evolution was actually red fire pepper. But there is no need to think too much. Just trust the system. Bai Zan thought about it. Since the evolution material required for the evolution of red clothes is red fire pepper. Then after the evolution of red clothes, it should be the power of fire. In this month, Bai Zan has experimented with the effect of strong flames on the storm body. The essence of wind is the flow of air. The reason for the flow of air is the temperature difference caused by the uneven temperature distribution in the environment, which makes the hot air light and rise, and the cold air flow to supplement, thus forming convection. In this case, then the change in ambient temperature can naturally affect the flow of wind. Bai Zan's experiment concluded. When the temperature rises to a certain level, the storm body will become difficult to control, and the digestion speed of chakra will also increase. Perhaps I can use the fire power obtained after the evolution of red clothes to make up for this shortcoming of the storm body. For Bai Zan now, he can only experiment with the effect of fire on the storm body. For the effect of dark style, the ability of hungry Keto to devour chakra on the storm body. And the effect of sealing on the storm body, Bai Zan does not have the conditions to experiment. But these are all trivial matters. Bai Zan is still young, and there is still a long time to create the conditions. Don't worry. As time passed, Bai Zan returned home soon. After arranging Hayate and Shadow to take Hong Yi to practice, Bai Zan also took out some scrolls recording ninja knowledge and read them. When developing wind-style ninjutsu, Bai Zan already knew the importance of knowledge. Wind style's nature transformation, wind style's morphological changes, chakra's nature, human meridians, the essence of seals, and so on. To develop powerful and practical wind style ninjutsu is not as difficult as Bai Zan imagined, nor is it as simple as Bai Zan imagined. As long as the knowledge is sufficient, Bai Zan can still develop some powerful and practical wind style ninjutsu. After studying for 2 hours, Bai Zan also went to practice. Cultivation is the foundation, and it is impossible to abandon it. That's it. The night slowly deepened. The next morning, Bai Zan, who had just returned from shopping, took out the 100 red-hot peppers he had just bought. Then, under the envious gazes of Gale and Shadow, he called Hong Yi. Hong Yi, today I will grant you evolution, so that you can gain more powerful strength and talents. Bai Zan looked at Hong Yi seriously and said in a straight voice, be prepared. Listening to Bai Zan's words, Hong Yi was stunned at first, and then a little expectation flashed in his eyes. Was the feeling of becoming stronger yesterday just an appetizer? Wouldn't today's evolution be more comfortable and more enjoyable? More powerful, more perfect? Hong Yi blinked her eyes and made a gesture of submissive acceptance. Seeing Hong Yi's gesture, Bai Zan opened Hong Yi's system attribute page. Summoning Beast. Red. Race. Red Fox. Talent. Light, Agile. Shared Talent. Smart. Evolvable. Evolution Requirement. Red Pepper 100. Evolve. Looking at the 4 big words at the bottom of the attribute page, Bai Zan made his choice. Evolve. Just after Bai Zan made his choice, the gray and chaotic evolution light appeared from the void in an instant. The next moment, the gray and chaotic evolution light directly enveloped the 100 red peppers, but in an instant, it swallowed and transformed these red peppers, turning them into a ball of flame-like red light. Then, the Hokage-like red light was like a living flame elf, and it landed on the body of the red-clothed after a jump. Hula. The flame-like red light enveloped the body of the red-clothed, just like the red-clothed was wearing a flame coat. This red light was not a flame, and the temperature of the room did not change at all. But Hong Yi felt a burst of warmth and comfort, just like taking a hot spring bath. With this feeling, Hong Yi showed an expression of enjoyment. Woo! Woo! Hong Yi cried out twice in enjoyment, and then closed her eyes comfortably. Then, in Bai Zan's sight, the red light and fire on Hong Yi's body became smaller and lighter, as if it was absorbed by Hong Yi. And as this layer of red light and fire was absorbed by Hong Yi, Hong Yi's appearance also slowly changed. The fur became more fiery red, the body became more graceful, and Hong Yi's tail. Next to the original tail, the second and third tails slowly grew out, growing continuously and rapidly. When this layer of red light and fire completely disappeared, when Hong Yi evolved completely, Bai Zan heard a series of system prompt sounds. Ding. Closing square bracket. Evolution completed. Opening the Summoning Beast attribute page. Opening. Summoning Beast. Red clothes. Race. Red Fire Fox. Talents. Lightness of Fire, Dexterity of Fire, Fire Style Affinity. Shared Talents. Intelligence. Evolvable. Evolution Requirement. Flame Heart Stone 1000 grams. Just after the attribute page popped up, the system prompt sounded. Ding. Closing square bracket. Power, talents shared. As soon as the mechanical sound fell, a warm energy current emerged directly from the void, and then quickly poured into Bai Zan's body. Strengthen physical fitness, strengthen mental strength, strengthen chakra quality, and at the same time, change physical properties. The first evolution of red clothes is very similar to the first evolution of Gale. The original 2 talents are also strengthened by the attributes once, and then a new talent is added. More similar. It is this new talent. The first evolution of Gale, the talent obtained is Wind Style Affinity. The first time Hong Yi got the talent was Fire Style Affinity. Fire Style Affinity. It can make life forms compatible with Fire Style. Bai Zan, who had just opened his eyes, smiled and stretched out a finger, then skillfully mobilized this talent. Puff. A spark rose up, as if Bai Zan's finger had turned into a lighter. Because of the Fire Style Affinity talent, I can be compatible with Fire Style, and the damage and impact of fire on me will be greatly reduced, allowing me to be more resistant to high temperatures. In this way, the impact of fire on the storm battle body can naturally be reduced. This time, my storm battle body is also more perfect. This feeling of using multiple summoning beast talents to make up for one's own shortcomings. This feeling of self-improvement and becoming more perfect. Bai Zan really likes it. Woo! Woo! After opening his eyes, Hong Yi shouted excitedly twice, and looked at Bai Zan with a little more respect. Without experiencing the feeling of evolution, it was really hard for Hong Yi to imagine that its owner actually had such a magical ability. It was so powerful and magical. Feeling the powerful power in his body, Hong Yi felt a little fortunate in his heart. It was great that he could meet his master and get the opportunity to evolve. At the same time that Hong Yi looked at Bai Zan also looked at Hong Yi. Because Hong Yi closed his eyes when he evolved, Bai Zan could not see the changes in Hong Yi's eyes. At this time, Hong Yi opened his eyes, and Bai Zan saw Hong Yi's eyes. Originally, Hong Yi's eyes were very beautiful, like two crystal clear rubies. And now, there are two more sparks in these two crystal clear rubies, emitting a faint light, which looks unusually bright. The first evolution has been completed. As long as you are obedient and give your strength and loyalty. There will be a second, third, and fourth evolutions that are more advanced than this evolution. Bai Zan's words are full of meaning. Listening to Bai Zan's words, Hong Yi's eyes also lit up, with a little more excitement, expectation, and yearning in his eyes. There are actually second, third, fourth, and even more evolutions. This is really hard for Hong Yi, who is just a little fox, to imagine what it will look like after evolving so many times. But before Hong Yi could think too much, Bai Zan continued to say, "You just evolved. Although you have gained powerful strength and talent, you still need more training to control this power and talent. Evolution requires evolution materials. The stronger your strength, the greater the probability that I will get evolution materials. If you want to get more evolutions as soon as possible, then work hard to train." Bai Zan said to Hong Yi again what he had said to Gale and Shadow before. Hong Yi listened to Bai Zan's words, thought about it, and it was the same reason, so Hong Yi nodded obediently. Ji Feng, Shadow, Hong Yi, the three of you go to practice. Bai Zan said the last word, and then he was ready to go out. As for why he went out. Of course, it was because of the evolutionary materials needed for Hong Yi's second evolution. Evolutionary requirements. Flame Heart Stone, 1000 grams. This Flame Heart Stone is a kind of ore that is unique to this world. Flame Heart Stone cannot be used to forge weapons, but it can be used to increase the temperature of the furnace as a fuel. After reacting with the Flame Heart Stone can release a lot of heat energy. Maybe it's because of chakra. The energy contained in the Flame Heart Stone is really amazing. Since the Flame Heart Stone has such characteristics, many shops related to forging will store some Flame Heart Stone. Bai Zan wants the Flame Heart Stone. Just ask Tiangong for it. It's not far away. Soon, Bai Zan came to the Tiangong Ninja Tool Shop. Uncle Tiangong. Bai Zan greeted politely. After seeing Bai Zan, Tiangong also showed a warm smile. Bai Zan, you seem to have grown taller again, which is really good. After looking at Bai Zan's height, Tiangong said with a smile. I grow faster at my age. Bai Zan nodded, and then said directly, Uncle Tiangong, I need 1000 grams of Flame Heart Stone. Okay, I'll get it for you right away. Tiangong didn't ask anything, just stood up and walked towards the forging room. Tiangong also watched Bai Zan grow up. After Bai Zan taught him the Su Gang method, Tiangong knew Bai Zan's evildoer and also saw Bai Zan's wisdom. In addition to Bai Zan's usual performance, Tiangong has long regarded Bai Zan as a big shot. For some of Bai Zan's requests, Tiangong will not ask anything, just do it directly. And this is also a kind of wisdom. Not long after, Tiangong put some Flame Heart Stone in a bag for Bai Zan. After Bai Zan received the Flame Heart Stone, he smiled and thanked Tian Gang. Thank you, Uncle Tian Gang. Uncle Tian Gang, you go ahead, I'll leave first. Goodbye. After saying goodbye to each other, Bai Zan turned around and left. Speaking of which, Hong Yi just evolved once, and he also asked Hong Yi to work hard to train and control his strength and talents. If he evolved a second time right away, it might not be good. Anyway, the Flame Heart Stone is already in hand, so let Hong Yi evolve next month. While putting the Flame Heart Stone into the storage scroll, Bai Zan thought. Then, Bai Zan cast his eyes to both sides. The streets of Konoha village are really peaceful. While walking, Bai Zan looked around casually. Suddenly, Bai Zan saw a familiar figure. No, it was three familiar figures. Uchiha Shisui, Uchiha Itachi, and Uchiha Sasuke. Such a scene is really rare. With a glance, Bai Zan seemed to have discovered something. At this time, Uchiha Sasuke seemed to dislike Uchiha Shisui very much. He held Uchiha Itachi's hand tightly and looked at Uchiha Shisui with disgust from time to time. It seemed, Uchiha Shisui ruined his time alone with his Oni-chan Uchiha Itachi. Sure enough. At this time, the feelings and relationship between Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Sasuke were still very good. Brokon and Brokon. The moment he saw Baisan, Uchiha Shisui glanced at Uchiha Itachi, and then walked directly towards Baisan, and greeted him at the same time. Baisan, what a coincidence. Shisui Sr. Baisan also greeted him politely. After Baisan finished greeting, Uchiha Shisui introduced Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Sasuke to Baisan. Baisan, this is Uchiha Itachi, and this is Uchiha Itachi's younger brother, Uchiha Sasuke. Baisan smiled politely at Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Sasuke, and then said directly, "My name is Baisan." After the name was given, they knew each other. Looking at Baisan, Uchiha Itachi's eyes flashed with a little strangeness. Uchiha Itachi actually knew Baisan very well, because Uchiha Shisui told him about Baisan and showed him the information about Baisan. After listening to Uchiha Shisui's evaluation of Baisan and reading the information about Baisan, Uchiha Itachi was quite curious about Baisan. After just one look today, the shock in his heart became more and more intense. Baisan really has a lot of chakra in his body. There are also his walking posture, muscle changes, and breathing frequency. These small details can show that Baisan is not simple. At least, when I was 4 years old, I was definitely not as strong as Baisan. Not to mention Baisan's calm demeanor and mature mind. Uchiha Itachi couldn't help but feel a little inferior. Uchiha Itachi was like this, and Uchiha Sasuke, who had been paying attention to Uchiha Itachi, discovered some of Uchiha Itachi's thoughts. Uchiha Sasuke could see that Uchiha Itachi attached great importance to Baisan, and even regarded Baisan as a peer. This made Uchiha Sasuke very dissatisfied. It was precisely because of this that Uchiha Sasuke looked at Baisan with a bit of unkindness. I have to say, this Uchiha Sasuke really has some problems, not like a normal person. He doesn't look like a normal person at ordinary times, and once he is connected to Uchiha Itachi, he is even more abnormal. Yeah. The sky cleared up, the rain stopped, and Nizuzi felt that he was fine again. Just as Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Sasuke were looking at Baisan, Baisan's eyes naturally swept over Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Sasuke. Uchiha Itachi's eyes surprised Baisan, but after thinking about it casually, Baisan guessed that Uchiha Shisui must have said something to Uchiha Itachi. As for Uchiha Sasuke's eyes, Baisan knew Uchiha Sasuke's personality and didn't want to make any comments on it. It just so happens that I have something to say to you and Itachi. Since we meet today, let's chat. Uchiha Shisui said with a smile. As Uchiha Shisui's words sounded, Baisan, Uchiha Itachi, and Uchiha Sasuke's mutual sizing ended. After a slight pause for 2 seconds, Baisan directly replied, "Okay." Anyway, there was nothing to do, so there was nothing wrong with chatting. What's more, the Uchiha clan has a lot of good things. Maybe I can get some benefits from it. After getting Baisan's reply, Uchiha Shisui looked at Uchiha Itachi. After a slight pause, Uchiha Itachi turned around quickly with an apologetic smile, and then squatted in front of Uchiha Sasuke. Sasuke, I'm sorry for today. Oni-chan has something to do. I'll take you back now. Just like that, Uchiha Itachi directly picked up Uchiha Sasuke. Without waiting for Uchiha Sasuke to say anything, Uchiha Itachi used the body flicker technique repeatedly. In just a few blinks of an eye, Uchiha Itachi disappeared in Baisan holding Uchiha Sasuke. Looking at this scene, Baisan suddenly felt that Uchiha Sasuke should have remembered him, and it was a very deep one. But Baisan didn't care too much. Wouldn't the naughty kid be subdued after a few beatings? Let's go to the forest we met last time. Uchiha Shisui said. Well, let's go. As Baisan's voice fell, Uchiha Shisui used the body flicker technique. And Baisan followed closely behind Uchiha Shisui. About 10 minutes later, Baisan and Uchiha Shisui came to a small wooden house. This was the resting place made by Uchiha Shisui himself, and it was also the secret base of him and Uchiha Itachi. Before Baizan followed Uchiha Shisui into the wooden house, Uchiha Itachi appeared in Baizan's sight from another direction. Uchiha Shisui is known as the instant body Shisui, so it is normal for him to be fast. This Uchiha Itachi's speed is not slow at all. Very fast. Baizan, Uchiha Shisui, and Uchiha Itachi sat at a garden table. In fact, with your wisdom, Baizan, you should have guessed some problems in the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Shisui spoke first. I can see some. Baizan nodded gently. After getting Baizan's confirmation, Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi looked at each other and nodded gently. After a moment of silence, Uchiha Shisui continued to say, I won't hide it from you. The problem of Uchiha is more serious than you think. The voices of the clan wanting to control Konoha by force and become the master of Konoha are getting louder and louder. If rebellion begins, the consequences are simply unimaginable. The Uchiha clan is on a path of self-destruction. Itachi and I want to save the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Shisui's voice was full of heaviness. I thought seriously about what you said last time, Baizan, and discussed it with Itachi for a long time. Finally, we came up with a solution. In order to prevent Uchiha from being destroyed, we want to transport some children out of the tribe and let them live and grow up healthily and freely in a normal environment. In this way, Uchiha will have a way out. Uchiha Shisui's voice became lower and lower. Listening to Uchiha Shisui's words, Baizan's eyes narrowed. Uchiha Shisui wanted to transport some of the tribe away. Isn't this stealing? However, this method is indeed a method, but it can only leave some fire for the Uchiha tribe. If the original fate track is followed, there will really be few people left in the Uchiha tribe. However, Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi have come up with a solution. Then why did they still look for themselves? Baizan couldn't help but feel a little confused. Since you already have an idea, what do you want to talk to me about today? Listening to Baizan's question, Uchiha Shisui paused for a moment, then replied with a bitter smile, the situation in Konoha is not that simple. Hokage-sama and Danzo-sama have different views on Uchiha. Itachi and I are in a difficult situation. We transported the Uchiha children out, but we don't know where to transport them. If we want them to live normally in Konoha, the Uchiha clan can't just sit back and watch. But whether we hand them over to Hokage-sama or Danzo-sama, Itachi and I are not at ease. If we want to transport them out of Konoha, we can't always take care of them outside Konoha village. We can't even guarantee their safety. There are too many problems like this. We discussed for a long time, but there is no satisfactory result. So we want to hear your opinion. Uchiha Shisui's voice was a little helpless. Uchiha Itachi on the side bowed his head heavily after Uchiha Shisui finished speaking, and then said earnestly, Baizan, please use your wisdom to help us. As Uchiha Itachi bowed his head, Uchiha Shisui also bowed his head heavily, please. Seeing Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi in such a posture, Baizan's eyebrows could not help but raise. I don't know if I have any way, and you two are so arrogant. I'm only 4 years old now, aren't you afraid that I'm not as smart as you think? Listening to Baizan's words, Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Shisui also raised their heads directly. In order to save Uchiha, as long as there is a possibility in you, I don't mind bowing my head. Uchiha Itachi's voice revealed a strong seriousness and caution. Me too. Uchiha Shisui's voice also revealed a strong seriousness and caution. After a moment of silence, Baizan suddenly understood Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Shisui's thoughts. Even though the Uchiha clan members are very extreme. But if they were not really desperate to the ultimate, how could Uchiha Shisui, known as the instant body Shisui, choose to commit suicide? How could such a powerful Uchiha Itachi choose to kill his own parents? Only when they were desperate to the ultimate would they make such an extreme choice. And before they were desperate to the ultimate, how could they not desperately grasp the slightest hope? At this time, Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi were lost in the desert. And there, maybe, was a source of water in Baizan's body. It was precisely because of this. They made such a gesture. I'll try to think about it. Baizan also sighed slightly. As Baizan's words fell, Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi's eyes lit up, and then looked at Baizan quietly with a little expectation. For a while, the air became silent. Time passed slowly, and after about 10 minutes, Baisan raised his head slightly, and then said in a deep voice, "You don't completely trust Hokage and Danzo." When Baisan spoke, Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi turned their eyes directly to Baisan and listened carefully. "I think you also know that eggs should not be put in one basket. So you can keep a lot of backups, just in case. Try to transport as many Uchiha children as possible. Give some to Hokage, some to Danzo, and then transfer some to the outside of Konoha village. Then, one of you fakes death, and goes to take care of and protect the children outside the village under an assumed name." In fact, what Baisan said before, Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi also thought of it. But they still felt that this was not safe enough. However, Baisan's fake death made Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi's eyes light up. Baisan stopped talking here. Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi also lowered their heads at the moment Baisan stopped talking. "Thank you very much, Baisan-kun." Uchiha Shisui's words were full of gratitude. "As long as you need my strength, I can lend it to you at any time." Uchiha Itachi promised carefully. "Don't be so serious, just help each other." Baisan sighed softly, and then said, "If I need your help, I won't be polite." Hearing Baisan's words, Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi couldn't help but exhale heavily. At this moment, the big stone in their hearts seemed to fall to the ground suddenly. The whole person seemed to be much more relaxed. "Yes. You also know my birth. I want to be a strong ninja, so I need knowledge belonging to ninja. I hope you can teach me some ninja knowledge and guide me in my practice." After a moment of silence, Baisan spoke calmly. Although Baisan has the guidance of Might Guy is only a ninja who specializes in physical skills, while Baisan wants to develop in an all-round way. In this case, Baisan inevitably needs more knowledge. Baisan wants the knowledge of the Uchiha clan very much. In addition, Baisan has just recovered the red clothes, and after the red clothes evolve, Baisan also obtains the innate ability of fire-style affinity. With this innate ability, Baisan feels that he needs to learn some fire-style ninjutsu. In addition to the Sharingan, the Uchiha clan is very famous, and fire style is also a unique skill of Uchiha. At this time, Baisan has gained the friendship of Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi. It is just right to get everything Baisan needs. Listening to Baisan's request, Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi both think that Baisan's request is nothing big. So they both agreed very readily. There is no problem with ninja knowledge and guiding practice. Uchiha Shisui replied seriously. "I just completed a mission and I have a few days to rest recently. If you need it, Baisan, I can guide you to practice now." Uchiha Itachi smiled kindly at Baisan. Listening to Uchiha Itachi's answer, Uchiha Shisui on the side said to Uchiha Itachi with some helplessness, "I think you still need to consider Sasuke's idea. You should prepare the ninja knowledge. After preparing the ninja knowledge, you can accompany your brother Sasuke with peace of mind. As for the task of teaching Baisan, leave it to me." Listening to Uchiha Shisui's words, Uchiha Itachi was silent for a while, and then nodded gently. "In this case, then trouble you, Senior Shisui. There is no need to say these words between the two of us." Uchiha Shisui smiled faintly at Uchiha Itachi. Watching the interaction between Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi, Baisan couldn't help but sigh slightly in his heart. These two people are really not easy. "Baisan, since you are free today, let's spar with each other first. Otherwise, it will be difficult to guide without knowing the foundation." Uchiha Shisui turned around and suggested to Baisan. Listening to Uchiha Shisui's suggestion, Baisan nodded gently, "Okay." Just like that, Baisan, Uchiha Shisui, and Uchiha Itachi stood up tacitly. After quickly coming to the open space outside the wooden house, Uchiha Itachi quickly moved away from Baisan and Uchiha Shisui, and stood on a branch, looking down at Baisan and Uchiha Shisui. Here, Uchiha Itachi can more easily see the actions of Baisan and Uchiha Shisui, so as to collect and analyze intelligence. Uchiha Itachi is very curious about Baisan's strength. "You go first." Uchiha Shisui invited calmly. Even though it was just a sparring match, Uchiha Shisui entered an extremely serious fighting state. Listening to Uchiha Shisui's words, Baisan didn't hesitate to raise his hand and performed a wind-style ninjutsu without any seal. Wind-style Thousand Faces Wind. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. But in an instant, hundreds of tiny wind blades shot out directly from Baisan's palm and covered Uchiha Shisui's body. Baisan knew that Uchiha Shisui was very fast, so he decided to use a large-scale wind-style ninjutsu as the starting attack, making it difficult for Uchiha Shisui to dodge. Looking at Baisan's movements, Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi were both surprised. This is actually a wind style without any seal. Baisan actually has such an ability. Because Uchiha Itachi has trained the ability to seal with one hand, he naturally knows the difficulty of Baisan's move. As for Uchiha Shisui, he didn't have time to think too much. Although wind-style Thousand Faces Wind is just an ordinary wind-style ninjutsu. But in the hands of Baisan, who has the talent of storm power, it becomes extremely extraordinary, extremely fast, and extremely powerful. However, in an instant, these nearly 1,000 small wind blades have already fallen on Uchiha Shisui. Fire-style Great Fire Dragon Technique. Both hands turned into phantoms in an instant, and strong chakra fluctuations gathered in Uchiha Shisui's mouth. Then, a hot and ferocious fire dragon suddenly flew out of Uchiha Shisui's mouth and circled towards those small wind blades. In this world, fire style overcomes wind style. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The wind blades and the fire dragons intertwined, causing the rolling heat waves to sweep in rage in all directions. The wind blade shattered, turning into a breeze that blew in all directions, getting smaller and smaller until it turned into nothingness. The fire dragon dissipated, turning into a billowing flame that spread out, getting smaller and smaller until it completely disappeared. In the next moment, Uchiha Shisui used his unique skills, a combination of clone technique and body flicker technique. Swish, 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 swish. A series of subtle and dense wind-breaking sounds suddenly sounded, and hundreds of Uchiha Shisui figures appeared in front of Baisan. Then, hundreds of Uchiha Shisui spread out in all directions. In the blink of an eye, Baisan was surrounded by these hundreds of Uchiha Shisui. In the next moment, these hundreds of Uchiha Shisui almost simultaneously drew out a small sword, and then rushed towards Baisan. Facing Uchiha Shisui's move, Baisan took a deep breath and then stretched out his hands. Wind-style Great Breakthrough Modified. Wind-style Great Breakthrough was originally a large-scale attack wind-style ninjutsu that blew out a ball of wind from the mouth and raged in all directions. The wind-style Great Breakthrough modified by Baisan can be emitted by the palm and can last for nearly 3 seconds. In the next moment, Baisan's palms turned quickly. Hoo! The rolling wind swept across the world in an instant, raging towards everything around Baisan. In Uchiha Itachi's vision, it was Baisan's figure that turned into a miniature tornado in an instant. Uchiha Shisui is not Uzumaki Naruto. Among the hundreds of Uchiha Shisui around Baisan, there is only one real body. The rest are just clones. Of course, Uchiha Shisui can also use Shadow Clone. But it consumes a lot of energy, and this is just a competition. But even so, when all the shadows are clones and there is only one main body that can attack, Uchiha Shisui can also attack from multiple angles in an instant by moving at high speed, thus giving the enemy the illusion that all the clones are real. And this is the speed of instantaneous Shisui. Ordinary clones are directly turned into nothingness when blown by the strong wind. But Uchiha Shisui's main body dodges very quickly. Baisan-kun is really not simple. That move just now should be a modified version of wind-style Great Breakthrough. At this age, he can actually modify ninjutsu. This is really amazing. Uchiha Itachi analyzed silently in his heart. In the next moment, Uchiha Shisui, who had just dodged Baisan's move, stood 10 meters away, holding the small sword and slashing fiercely. Uchiha-style sword leaping flame. This slash was a nearly 3-meter-long flaming blade that broke out from the blade of the small sword, carrying a scorching heat wave, and slashed towards Baisan extremely quickly. When the miniature tornado that wrapped Baisan disappeared, the flaming blade was less than 2 meters away from Baisan. Facing this flaming blade, Baisan just slapped it with a calm expression. Wind-style Beast Wave Fierce Wind Palm. Although this wind-style ninjutsu is called wind-style beast wave fierce wind palm, it actually emits a wind blade, a huge wind blade. Under the blessing of the storm power, the nearly 5-meter-long wind blade crossed the void in an instant and intertwined with the flame blade. Boom! An explosion sounded, and the flames mixed with the strong wind spread in all directions in an instant. The rolling heat wave drew a clearly visible circle in the void and then quickly dissipated. Before the dust and smoke rose, Uchiha Shisui showed his extremely outstanding speed and unique Uchiha-style ninja swordsmanship again. Uchiha-style dance of Halo. Swish, swish, swish. A flame flashed 3 times in the sky. 3 flame blades as big as 10 meters were also slashed at Baisan from 3 directions in an instant. The 3 flame blades passed through the void, and in the void, they formed 3 beautiful and tricky arcs. Under the flickering flames, they were full of dangerous splendor. Facing this move, using simple wind-style ninjutsu is no longer useful. So, Baisan quickly made the opening move of Konoha fluid technique. Leaf-strong whirlwind. A small tornado rose up in an instant, and Baisan, who turned into a small tornado, burst out at an extremely amazing speed in an instant. The small tornado rushed towards Uchiha Shisui. Baisan dodged 2 flame blades, but the 3rd flame blade still fell on Baisan. However, this flame blade not only did not hurt Baisan, but instead turned the small tornado that Baisan turned into a flame tornado in an instant. This made the momentum of Baisan's move soar in an instant. The flames burned fiercely, the wind swept violently, and the amazing speed combined with powerful force. This shocked Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi. Because Baisan's move was comparable to those powerful A-level ninjutsu. And this level of ninjutsu can generally be called a secret Chidori, Rasengan, multiple shadow clone technique. The fire tornado swept everything and burned everything. Wherever the fire tornado moved, a hideous and terrible scorch mark appeared on the ground in an instant. Although Baisan is not very old, his strength is really shocking. It seems. You can't be careless. Facing Baisan's move, Uchiha Shisui's body paused slightly. Then, Sharingan. 3 Magatama suddenly appeared in Uchiha Shisui's eyes. Under the power increase of Sharingan, Uchiha Shisui quickly dodged to the side. After a lifelong leap, Uchiha Shisui threw dozens of kunai in an instant. Of course, Uchiha Shisui's throwing kunai is not an ordinary kunai, but a ninjutsu, a fire-style ninjutsu improved from fire-style Phoenix fire technique. Fire-style Phoenix flower claw red. Hoo. As soon as these dozens of kunai left Uchiha Shisui's palm, they burned with raging flames in an instant. The flame coat wrapped dozens of kunai and came to Baisan in an instant, touching the fire tornado. So, the detonating tags on the kunai were activated by Uchiha Shisui. Boom, 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 quote. Dozens of explosions suddenly sounded, and groups of flames spread in all directions. The flames flickered, the heat waves surged, and the smoke and dust flew up. For a moment, the scene seemed a bit huge. Of course, Uchiha Shisui's moves were very measured. When the dust settled, Baisan appeared in the eyes of Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi without any damage. The moment they saw Baisan, Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi subconsciously froze in place. Then, both of them were full of disbelief. Because according to their ninja experience, although the move just now would not make Baisan clean up, it would at least make Baisan a little messy. But the fact is that Baisan was unscathed. Even his clothes were not damaged at all. They thought they could not do this. And Baisan is only 4 years old now. At this age, with such strength, plus the wisdom shown by Baisan. Maybe he is a true genius. I really didn't expect that Baisan Jun's strength is so unfathomable. I don't have anything to teach you about wind style and taijutsu. But I can see that Baisan Jun wants to take the path of all-round development. Body flicker technique, illusion, fire style, Uchiha Ryu ninja swordsmanship. Which one do you want to learn first? Uchiha Shisui asked generously. Hearing that Uchiha Shisui asked, which one do you want to learn first? The word, first, means that Uchiha Shisui is willing to teach Baisan everything he has. This makes Baisan feel a little happy. Although Uchiha Shisui was serious just now, it was just a competition after all, not a life and death battle. In addition to the name of Flicker Shisui, Uchiha Shisui is also known as the strongest illusion ninja of the Uchiha clan. In the battle just now, Uchiha Shisui did not release illusions to Baisan. And now Baisan has no resistance to illusions. What's more, Uchiha Shisui at this time should have awakened Mangekyo. In such a competition, Baisan and Uchiha Shisui might be able to fight back and forth, and Baisan might even be able to suppress Uchiha Shisui a little. But if Uchiha Shisui tries his best, Baisan will find it really hard to resist. So, Baisan still has a lot to learn. Let's learn body flicker technique first, one by one. With Baisan's reply, the competition was over. Yeah, even if it was a draw. Okay, then I'll teach you my body flicker technique. As he spoke, Uchiha Shisui walked slowly in front of Baisan. All techniques that can achieve high-speed movement can be called body flicker technique, and my body flicker technique is one of the body flicker techniques of escape technique. Uchiha Shisui explained directly without any hesitation. Then, Uchiha Shisui began to teach Baisan seriously. How to make a seal, how to exert force, how to use chakra to stimulate the body, how to cover the chakra on the soles of the feet. Many small skills combined together constitute Shisui's unique technique. Uchiha Itachi looked at Uchiha Shisui who was teaching Baisan seriously, and then looked at Baisan who was studying seriously. After thinking for a while, Uchiha Itachi disappeared directly from the spot. Uchiha Itachi certainly did not leave without saying goodbye. But he felt that Baisan must have a strong talent and must learn very quickly. In order not to waste the time of both parties, he should prepare the ninja knowledge that Baisan needs in advance. As for preparing that ninja knowledge, Uchiha Itachi felt that it would be better to prepare all the ninja knowledge that he could control and obtain. Baisan and Uchiha Shisui naturally noticed Uchiha Itachi's actions. But they didn't care, because they all knew that Uchiha Itachi would definitely come back, and they trusted Uchiha Itachi. It was precisely because of this. The two of them devoted themselves to the things in front of them. One taught, the other learned. 1.5 hours later. After Baisan made a seal with his hands, the whole person disappeared directly from the spot and quickly appeared 10 meters ahead. Looking at this scene, Uchiha Shisui couldn't help but reveal a slightly bitter smile. He had long acknowledged Baisan's genius. But this body flicker technique, after Uchiha Shisui summarized it, it took him 3 months to practice it before he could initially master it. Even when he was teaching Uchiha Itachi spent a full 47 days. And now, Baisan actually mastered this technique in just 1.5 hours. Even though it was also because he, Uchiha Shisui, had taught Baisan a lot of experience. But, Uchiha Shisui still couldn't help but feel a little ashamed. This was really a bit of a blow. After all, Uchiha Shisui was also known as a genius since childhood. But in front of Baisan, the difference was indeed a bit big. Since Baisan, you have already mastered this technique initially, the rest is to practice more. Uchiha Shisui took a deep breath and calmed down his mood. Next, Baisan, what do you want to learn? After a moment of silence, Uchiha Shisui continued to ask. Illusion. After thinking for a while, Baisan gave this answer. Listening to Baisan's answer, Uchiha Shisui paused slightly, and then slowly began to talk. Illusion is a technique that uses chakra to interfere with the enemy's 5 senses, disrupt the opponent's chakra, and thus make him fall into an illusion. If you want to learn illusion, you must first know the flow of chakra in the human body, especially the flow of chakra in the brain. I have to say, Uchiha Shisui is indeed a good teacher. Illusion is not like body flicker technique. This is a complete set of systematic techniques. To learn, master, and use it in battle, you need to master a lot of prerequisite knowledge. Time passed slowly. Unknowingly. It was time for lunch. At this time, Uchiha Itachi appeared. He not only prepared the knowledge that Baisan needed, but also prepared lunch for Baisan and Uchiha Shisui. Hayate and Shadow knew where the food was at home, so Baisan didn't have to go back. That's it. After eating the lunch prepared by Uchiha Itachi, Baisan continued to study and practice under the guidance of Uchiha Shisui. Until night fell, Baisan had completely mastered the prerequisite knowledge of illusion. Before parting, Uchiha Itachi took out a storage scroll and handed it to Baisan. Mr. Baisan, here are the ninja knowledge and some techniques I prepared. I hope you will be satisfied. Thank you, Itachi. Goodbye. 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 After the three of them said goodbye to each other, Baisan returned home. Baisan was fast to begin with, and today he learned Uchiha Shisui's body flicker technique, which made him even faster. Although it would take some time for Baisan to master the body flicker technique in battle, it was more than enough for him to travel. Soon, Baisan returned home, washed vegetables and cooked, and lit the pot. Baisan had a big appetite. The three summoning beasts, Gale, Shadow, and Red, also needed to taste. That's right. Baisan cooked a lot of food. Meat, vegetables, thick soup, and a large bucket of rice. It was not until 7 o'clock in the evening that Baisan was full and cleaned up the dishes. But just when Baisan was about to take a look at the ninja knowledge that Uchiha Itachi had prepared for him, a knock on the door stopped Baisan's movements. After turning his eyes, Baisan sensed a very majestic chakra. This was the chakra belonging to Shadow. Knock on the door at this time. That is the third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen. Although I knew that Sarutobi Hiruzen would definitely come. But I didn't expect that Sarutobi Hiruzen would be so anxious. It seems that Sarutobi Hiruzen now has put the Uchiha issue at the top of his mind. After sighing in his heart, Baisan walked towards the door slowly. After opening the door, Sarutobi Hiruzen's old face appeared in front of Baisan. After lowering his head, Baisan greeted politely, "Meetings, Hokage." Baisan, your parents are heroes of Konoha, but the Hokage has too much work. I haven't come to see you since they died. I'm really sorry. Sarutobi Hiruzen lowered his head, as if to express his apology. I have to say, Sarutobi Hiruzen's attitude is really sincere. If someone who doesn't know Sarutobi Hiruzen sees Sarutobi Hiruzen like this, he may have a lot of good feelings for Sarutobi Hiruzen, even respect and admiration. Because Sarutobi Hiruzen is the Hokage. Hokage-sama is the Hokage of Konoha and the Hokage of everyone in Konoha. I know the Hokage is very busy, and I have never blamed Hokage-sama. Konoha can be so stable, and I can live so comfortably, all thanks to Hokage-sama. Baisan was very sincere when he lied, without any flattery. It seemed that what Baisan said at this time. It was the true words in Baisan's heart. It was also because of this that Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Baisan with some emotion. Yes. Konoha can be so stable, and the villagers can live so comfortably, all thanks to me. How can they not know the importance of stability? I have done so much, sacrificed so much, everything is for stability. As long as there is stability, those sacrifices are worth it. Baisan found this comfort for Sarutobi Hiruzen, which is really good. Those ninjas sacrificed for stability, not for power. This is an extremely correct thing. He did not make any mistakes. This is something that even a child knows. For a while, Sarutobi Hiruzen had a lot of good feelings for Baisan. Even when Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Baisan, he felt like he saw a confidant. Seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen's reaction, Baisan knew that he had guessed Sarutobi Hiruzen's thoughts correctly. Sarutobi Hiruzen is a hypocrite. For the so-called stability, many ninjas were sacrificed. Hypocrites are not evil people. There is no need for any reason to do evil. After sacrificing these ninjas, Sarutobi Hiruzen will definitely feel a little guilty and sorry. But Sarutobi Hiruzen will never admit that his decision was wrong. But others, they don't think so. Sarutobi Hiruzen listened to others saying that his choice was wrong. Especially Shimura Danzo had a catchphrase, "Hiruzen, you will regret it." There was still a big difference in thought between Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was a compromiser, and Shimura Danzo, who was a war advocate. This made Sarutobi Hiruzen feel very uncomfortable. But Baisan's words affirmed what Sarutobi Hiruzen did. Baisan, you are really sensible. Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but smile and praise Baisan. Thank you for the compliment, Hokage. Hokage, please come in and sit down. Baisan smiled politely. Yeah. Sarutobi Hiruzen wanted to come in, so he nodded and agreed. Soon, Sarutobi Hiruzen came to the room and saw Hayate, Shadow, and Red Clothes. Shadow and Red Clothes were not too strong, so Sarutobi Hiruzen just glanced at them. But Might Guy has already reported Hayate's ability. This made Sarutobi Hiruzen look at Hayate with a little more attention. Baizan is still young. Hayate, who grew up with Baizan, is naturally not very old. This also means, as long as Hayate grows up, his strength will increase a lot. In this way, as long as Baizan does not die, relying on Hayate, Baizan can become an elite Jonin, and a strong one among the elite Jonin. This is Konoha's high-level combat power. Even, it is not impossible to reach Kage. How can Sarutobi Hiruzen not pay attention to this? But Sarutobi Hiruzen did not look at him for too long. Soon, Sarutobi Hiruzen turned his attention to Baizan. After a slight pause, Sarutobi Hiruzen said seriously, Baizan, I know you are a smart kid. The Uchiha clan's affairs are a big deal for Konoha. So I hope you can tell me everything about your relationship with Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi, and what happened between you. Listening to Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, Baizan's expression also straightened directly. The performance. It started. Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi perfectly inherited the will of fire. But they are loyal to Konoha. Not to Hokage and Danzo. Currently, Baizan is on the side of Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi, so he naturally knows what to do. Baizan doesn't hate Sarutobi Hiruzen. But he doesn't plan to save Sarutobi Hiruzen's life when Orochimaru attacks. As for Shimura Danzo, Baizan really wants to kill him and take away the treasure. After all, Shimura Danzo has a lot of good things on him. I don't know how many good things the Root organization has secretly collected over the years. These things. Baizan is quite envious. Anyway, Shimura Danzo is not a good person, so he can just kill him. According to Baizan's own calculations, when Orochimaru attacks, he will definitely have the ability to destroy the Root organization. Before that, just use Sarutobi Hiruzen a little bit to prevent Shimura Danzo from causing trouble for him. With this idea in mind, Baizan began to speak slowly. Senior Shisui told me that the Uchiha clan wanted to use force to dominate Konoha and become the master of Konoha. This is a road that is destined to self-destruction. Senior Shisui is worried that the Uchiha clan will perish. So he wants to leave a way out for the Uchiha clan. Shisui and Itachi want to transport some ignorant children from the Uchiha clan. Hearing the word, transport, Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes flashed with a bit of strangeness. But he didn't say anything, but continued to listen quietly. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't speak, so Baizan naturally continued to tell the story. But they don't know whether to give these children to the Hokage or to a man called Shimura Danzo. Because Uchiha Shisui wants to transport some Uchiha children, it's because of something I said, so they want to hear my opinion. It seems that Shisui and Itachi don't want to offend Hokage and Shimura Danzo, so I suggest that they divide the children into two and give them to Hokage and Shimura Danzo at the same time. Listening to Baizan's words, Sarutobi Hiruzen also understood the general situation. In order to thank Baizan, Uchiha Shisui decided to guide Baizan's training. Money and goods are settled, and no one owes each other. That should be the case. It seems that Baizan and Uchiha really don't have a very close relationship. What's more, Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi were originally on the side of Konoha. Baizan got the information about the shadow from Uchiha Shisui, and he knew it a long time ago. There is nothing wrong with this. After all, he also knows Baizan's ability. So when Baizan asked Uchiha Shisui for the shadow, Uchiha Shisui probably thought Baizan looked like a genius, so he asked some questions with a fluke idea, which is also nothing wrong. Yeah, under the coincidence of fate, there is such a thing today. As for what Uchiha Shisui asked and what Baizan answered, Sarutobi Hiruzen can also guess a little. But these things are no longer important. Thinking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen showed a kind smile. I almost know everything. Baizan, you are really a genius. I don't know why you want to become a ninja, Baizan. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Baizan with a smile, waiting for Baizan's answer. Here, Baizan's performance has also come to an end. In order to have the power to protect the precious things in my heart. Baizan replied calmly and seriously. After getting Baizan's answer, Sarutobi Hiruzen finally showed a smile from the heart. Sarutobi Hiruzen likes the word protection, very much. Because Sarutobi Hiruzen thinks that the word, protection, represents the will of fire. Bison is a child who inherited the will of fire, and Sarutobi Hiruzen naturally admires and is very happy. But Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't know. In Bison's mouth, the so-called precious things in the heart do not exist in Konoha. But this is no longer important. I believe that Bison, you will be able to protect the precious things in your heart. With this, Sarutobi Hiruzen took out a scroll that had been prepared long ago. There are some ninjutsu recorded on it, I hope they can help you. Sarutobi Hiruzen handed the scroll to Bison. Looking at this scene, Bison also replied to Sarutobi Hiruzen with a smile from the bottom of his heart. Since you have received benefits, you must thank him well anyway. Thank you, Hokage-sama. I will definitely make good use of them. Bison took the scroll carefully and expressed his sincere gratitude. Well, it's getting late, so I'll leave first. Sarutobi Hiruzen said goodbye with a smile. Hokage-sama, take care. Bison said goodbye. Then, Sarutobi Hiruzen left. After Sarutobi Hiruzen left, Bison opened the scroll that Sarutobi Hiruzen sent. On it, there are many basic techniques. It seems that based on the intelligence, Sarutobi Hiruzen also saw that Bison wanted to become a comprehensive ninja. Some wind-style ninjutsu that Bison did not have, as well as some other low-level fire style, low-level water style, low-level earth style, low-level lightning style, low-level illusion. In addition, there are some low-level sealing techniques, low-level medical ninjutsu, and even some theoretical knowledge about ninjutsu and chakra. This scroll. It is very precious. Let's not talk about the technique mentioned above. These theoretical knowledge about ninjutsu and chakra are very precious. You know, Sarutobi Hiruzen's title is Professor of Ninjutsu. Sarutobi Hiruzen has the most extensive knowledge of ninjutsu and chakra in the world, not to mention the depth and precision. Grandmaster 5 Elements Escape Technique, and can release the 5 Elements Escape Technique at the same time, combining them into 5 Escape Technique. This is amazing. Grandmaster has a large number of 5 elements escape techniques, and can skillfully combine these 5 elements escape techniques. If the Otsutsuki family is not considered, Sarutobi Hiruzen is already the ultimate of ordinary ninjutsu type ninjas. That's right. Sarutobi Hiruzen's knowledge is really precious. Looking at the knowledge recorded on the scroll, Bison couldn't help but sigh. Today's harvest is really huge. Bison is the most gifted being in this world. There is no art in this world that Bison cannot learn. The wind power of gale, the fire power of red clothes, the shadow power of shadow. All in all, as long as Bison continues to recover the summoning beasts and continuously evolve the summoning beasts. When the summoning beasts have powerful talents, it means that Bison has powerful talents. A large number of powerful talents are gathered in Bison, and Bison's talents are infinitely strong and infinitely high. Unable to control space-time ninjutsu. Then recover a summoning beast with space-time ninjutsu. Unable to control sage mode. Then recover a summoning beast with fairy arts talent. Anyway, this world is so big. The talents that humans have, most of the summoning beasts have. The talents that humans don't have, many summoning beasts also have. That's exactly the case. The most suitable Bison. It is a path of all-round development. Bison wants all the jutsu. Just this day, Bison first obtained the Flame Heart Stone, the evolution material needed by Red Clothes. Then he received the teachings of Uchiha Shisui and the ninja knowledge collected by Uchiha Itachi. Finally, he received the gift of Sarutobi Hiruzen at night. Such a harvest is naturally very rich. Thinking of this, Bison also took out the storage scrolls given to him by Uchiha Itachi. After entering chakra, a series of scrolls appeared on the wooden table in front of Bison. There are really a lot of them. This Uchiha Itachi is really sensible. After Bison's eyes quickly scanned these scrolls, he knew that Uchiha Itachi had nothing to hide. Almost all the knowledge except the secrets of the Uchiha clan was prepared for Bison. This also includes a large number of fire styles. And the trophies, collected by Uchiha Itachi from behind the enemy. In the next moment, Bison quickly collected them. I'm really rich now. With so much knowledge, it will be much easier to develop wind style moves. I should be able to perfect a set of wind-style secrets that suit me before going to school. With this idea in mind, Baizan studied a little late tonight. The following time. In the morning, Baizan trained with Might Guy, Tiantian, and Naruto and learned physical skills. In the afternoon, he received instruction from Uchiha Shisui, learning illusion, fire style, one-handed seals, combat skills, and Uchiha Ryu ninjutsu. Even the Crow ninjutsu that Baizan doesn't need now, Uchiha Shisui taught Baizan without any reservation. It was because of Uchiha Shisui's attitude that he confirmed that Uchiha Shisui was indeed a good person, and knew that Uchiha Shisui had a teammate from the Nara clan. Baizan asked Uchiha Shisui to collect 10 strands of Nara clan hair for him. Listening to Baizan's request, Uchiha Shisui also thought of Baizan's ability. So Uchiha Shisui didn't say much, and handed Baizan the 10 Nara hairs he needed the next day. So, after returning home at night, Baizan called Shadow. Knowing what this meant, Shadow was naturally very excited. After quickly flying in front of Baizan, Shadow bowed his head respectfully. Seeing Shadow's attitude, Baizan nodded gently, took out the 10 Nara hairs, and then opened Shadow's attribute page. Summoning Beast. Shadow. Race. Black Feather Crow. Talents. Black Hiding, Steel Black Feather Rush, Black Feather Regeneration. Shared Talents. Intelligence. Evolvable. Evolution Requirement. Nara Hair 10 strands. Evolve. Without hesitation, Baizan made his choice, Evolve. At the moment Baizan made his choice, the gray and chaotic evolution emerged directly from the void, and then in an instant, it wrapped the 10 Nara hairs in Baizan's hand. Then, in just a breath, the gray and chaotic evolution light directly wrapped the Nara hair in Baizan's hand. Under the effect of the great power, these 10 Nara hairs directly turned into a shadow. The shadow shuttled through the void, but in an instant it sank into the body of the shadow. In the next moment, the shadow turned into a shadow. Or, a layer of deep and heavy shadow completely covered the shadow. Under the cover of this shadow, Shadow seemed to have turned into a shadow life form, or into a shadow without substance, mysterious and dark, quiet and deep. Especially Shadow's eyes. The dark red eyes became darker and deeper in an instant, just like the cloudy night sky, without any light, dark and deep. Caw. Accompanied by a low crow cry, the shadow on Shadow seemed to fade a little. And this seemed to represent Shadow's evolution. Finally completed. As expected. Just after Baizan had this idea, a series of system prompts sounded directly in Baizan's mind. Ding. Closing square bracket. Evolution completed. Opening the Summoning Beast attribute page. Opening. Summoning Beast. Shadow. Race. Shadow Raven. Talent. Shadow Incarnation, Domination of Shadow, Yin Dun Affinity. Shared Talent. Intelligence. Evolvable. Evolution Requirement. Indra Blood 100 ml. Just after the attribute page popped up, the system prompt sounded. Ding. Closing square bracket. Power. Talent shared. As soon as the mechanical sound fell, a cold and heavy energy current emerged directly from the void, and then quickly poured into Baizan's body. At this moment, Baizan felt the power of Shadow. He also felt the power of Yin. Shadow represents the special secret technique of the Nara clan. The ability to use chakra to activate shadows to defeat enemies. However, Shadow is only an appearance, and only Yin is the essence. In this world, ordinary ninjas only know that chakra has 5 attributes. But in fact, chakra has all of these attributes. Wind, thunder, fire, water, earth, yin, and yang. Yang is a symbol of vitality, while yin is a symbol of spiritual power. The talent of controlling shadows allows Baizan to control shadows and show abilities similar to the shadow secret technique of the Nara clan. The talent of Shadow Incarnation allows Baizan to transform into a shadow, which is also an ability of the body elementalization. It's just that turning into a shadow is much weirder than turning into a storm. Shadows are invisible and intangible, which is convenient for sneaking and more concealed. As for the last ability of Yin Dun Affinity, it makes Baizan a little overjoyed. After gaining Wind Style Affinity, Baizan can raise wisps of breeze at will. After gaining Fire Style Affinity, Baizan can easily produce a small flame. After gaining the Yin Tun Affinity talent, Bai Zan opened his eyes and focused his attention on a wooden teacup in front of him. Buzz. With a slight vibration, the wooden teacup floated up. After leaving the table 1 centimeter, it quickly fell down again. Bang. Of course. It was only 1 centimeter away from the table, and there was no way this wooden teacup would be in trouble. It's actually a means similar to telekinesis. The Yin-Tun affinity talent is really powerful. Bai Zan opened his eyes slightly and couldn't help but sigh. Then, after adapting to the changes in his body, Bai Zan began to experiment with the talent of controlling the shadow. After the chakra flowed into the soles of his feet, it naturally flowed into the shadow. Then, Bai Zan's shadow came to life. A 3-dimensional shadow stood in front of Bai Zan. This shadow is invisible and intangible, but it can interfere with reality. I can hit the enemy, but the enemy can't hit me. The shadow is driven by chakra. As long as the chakra in the shadow is not exhausted, the shadow will not disappear. Unless the enemy can devour the chakra in the shadow, or seal the chakra, it can completely solve this shadow. Bai Zan looked at the shadow and analyzed it slowly. In the next moment, Bai Zan's mind moved, and he slowly used chakra to change the shape of this shadow. Not long after, this shadow turned into a black knight with a black body. Wearing shadow-heavy armor and holding a shadow giant sword. Sure enough, the shadow has no shape, so I can change the shape of the shadow at will. In this way, as long as chakra is sufficient, I can directly use the shadow to create a shadow army and immortal shadow army. Bai Zan thought of this, and his eyes couldn't help but reveal a bit of satisfaction. This is satisfaction with this talent of controlling shadows. Summoning Beast, which has evolved twice, has such a powerful talent. This not only makes Bai Zan look forward to the 3rd evolution of Summoning Beast, but even the 4th evolution. At that time, what kind of talent can I get? After roughly testing the strength of the talent of dominating shadow, Bai Zan turned his attention to the last talent, Shadow Incarnation. In the next moment, Bai Zan turned into a shadow. A 3-dimensional shadow. This feeling is not much different from the feeling when launching the Storm Battle body. But Bai Zan knows. Since he turned into a shadow, he can naturally enter the shadow. With a thought, Bai Zan turned from a 3-dimensional existence to a 2-dimensional existence, and then lay on the ground. What a magical feeling. After becoming a shadow, it is actually this perspective. Bai Zan thought to himself. After feeling it a little, Bai Zan quickly recovered his body. After looking at the shadow, Bai Zan directly ordered, "Shadow, transform into a shadow and enter my shadow." Hearing Bai Zan's order, Shadow, who had already entered the standby state, bowed his head respectfully, and then directly transformed into a shadow and sneaked into Bai Zan's shadow. In the future, shadow will form in my shadow, which can help me deal with some sudden sneak attacks, or help me sneak attack the enemy. Bai Zan murmured in a low voice. Thinking for a while, Bai Zan directly left the room and walked into the courtyard. After a slight pause, Bai Zan input the chakra in his body into the shadow. In an instant, the shadow under Bai Zan's feet deformed and twisted in an instant. And then, shadow arrow. The shadow turned into an arrow in an instant and shot forward. Swoosh. The shadow arrow completely crossed the void with a shadow. Duo. The shadow arrow sank into the stone in front of Bai Zan, and the half-meter-long shadow arrow was completely sank into it. Sure enough. The talent of controlling shadow allows my shadow to attack outside the body. Since I can do this, the shadow should also be able to use the shadow to condense into shadow feathers to attack. More importantly, I seem to be able to use this talent in combination with the talent of incarnation shadow to control the Kronen Jutsu. Thinking of this, Bai Zan also started to try it directly. There is no need to make a seal. After Bai Zan mobilized chakra, the whole person turned into a shadow in an instant. And then, split into pieces. Puff, 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 puff. Accompanied by the dense flapping of wings, the fragmented Bai Zan turned into hundreds of shadow crows and flew in all directions. Then they gathered again 2 seconds later. Sure enough, Bai Zan nodded with satisfaction. Thanks for watching, please subscribe and support our channel.